Very good morning. Welcome back. In this video, we are going to discuss about the clustering validation. So far, we have discussed about the what is meant by cluster, then cluster techniques, okay, then how to measure the distances between objects if they are having a qualitative attributes, quantitative attributes, and non-conventional attributes. After finding the distances, we have grouped. Now what we are going to do means we are going to validate the cluster. The cluster validation, it is used to ensure the quality of the partitions, and also this will be used to ensure the classification task, whether which algorithm we have used and whether we have used a best clustering algorithm to cluster it, and whether it is correctly performing the predictive tasks like the classifications. Then cluster validity criteria. Here, the cluster validity is ensured through the three methods: external indices, internal indices, and relative indices. The external indices means it will use only the purely external information. Then internal indices, the compactness inside each cluster is ensured, validated. Then the relative indices, the partitions found by two or more clustering techniques. Then the first one is the Silhouette internal index. This method it is used to evaluate compactness inside the each cluster, and also it will measure how close to each other the object inside a clusters are, and the separation of different clusters, how it is done. Then it is done by using the equation Silhouette of x of object x of I equal to 1, 0, minus 1. So if A is less than B, then it will be considered as the positive occurrences. Equal to 0, then it will be a neutral 0. If minus 1 means A of x is greater than B, then it will be represented in minus 1. The A of x is the average distance between xi and all other objects in the cluster. B of x, Bx of I is the minimum average distance between x of I and all other objects in the cluster. The average of all S of xi gives a partition Silhouette measures value. The second method is Jaccard external measures. This is a variation of a similar measures which is used to perform the classification task, and also it will evaluate how uniform the distribution of the objects in each cluster is with respect to the class label. And this external measures are calculated by using the equation Jaccard equal to M11 M01 plus M10 plus M11. In this, M01 means it is the number of objects in other cluster but with the same label. 10 means number of objects in the same cluster but different labels. 00 means number of objects in other cluster with different labels. 11 means the number of objects in the same cluster with same label. This two this will be used for the external indices measures, and internal, and this one be used for the external measures. These two measures are used to ensure the cluster validity, whether the partition is done properly. Then also it will ensure whether the algorithm which is chosen to partition the data set is correct or wrong. If that things are ensured in this measures. Basically, the distance measures, which is useful to form a clusters based on the distances, which is having a minimum distance.